So hi there everybody, so I'm out doing a test here again, and this is actually a test that I've been wanting to do for a while now. It's a test, let me give you a look. It's a test with a couple of lenses, and one being the 12mm f1.4, the Lumix from Panasonic and Leica, which they have done together. This is one of my favorite lenses ever, but it is a specialty lens, and for the longest time I've been wanting to do a video where I compare how good is the 12mm on this compared to the 12mm on the 12-60 from Panasonic Leica, and with the 12-35 from Panasonic, and also on the 12mm from the Panasonic Leica 8-18 that I'm doing this on. So I'm really keen to see how much better is the 12mm at 12mm and how big is the difference in the image at f1.4. Before you see some of the footage, because I've already been out shooting for a while, and it's a hot day here in Malmö, Sweden. It's almost 30 degrees, and we don't have that very often. Last year was crazy. Looks like this year is going to be the same. Enough about the weather here in Sweden. This is the 12mm, so I'm looking how I'm going to use all of these lenses at their widest aperture. So for the 12-30, 35, it's going to be at f2.8. 12-60 is going to be at 2.8 as well. The 8-18, it's actually, when you are at 12mm, it's going to be at f3.5, so the aperture is going to be narrower, and of course here it's going to be f1.4. so I'm going to compare how the look is different. I expect some things, but I'm gonna look at the footage before I make up my mind. Now I really love the 12mm, so yeah. I'm also gonna compare these lenses at f4 just to see, well, is there any difference when you step down a little bit? Is the sharpness gonna increase, or is it basically the same? And I'm gonna see if, well, is this a lens for everybody or for nobody, or might the other lenses be better? So yeah, let's look at the results and wait for the conclusion in the end of this video. Now, sorry, I'm back again. I almost ran away. Just to say that this is not going to be like a perfect comparison. We are not in the studio. The light is going to vary because we have some clouds here. Also to say, because we are shooting at different apertures, we have to, and I am using ND filters because I'm shooting this on the Blackmagic pockets in my 4K camera. I mean, the look might be different from lens to lens, and depending on how much you turn that ND filter. So just to say that it's not going to be a perfect test. This is just, yeah, how to say, it's just a test for me to see, well, do I need to have the f1.4 in my kit? Yeah, look at the footage now. So this is the day 2 of this test, and I reviewed all the footage from this shoot, and I have actually more shots than I've showed in this video. But all that I can say is that there are some things to think about. I did do sharpness test both at the widest apertures and at f4s, and you could see the difference there. The fixed lens is of course going to be sharper at f4. At the widest apertures, I would say that they're quite similar. in sharpness. You could also see that the sharpness deteriorates a little bit going to the corners, and that's the same with all the lenses. To be honest, when it comes to the sharpness, I feel that the craze after sharp lenses is a little bit over exaggerated. At least for me, most modern lenses are sharp enough, I would say. Like I said, I'm shooting this on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera, and to be honest, there are sharper images than this, and if you're somebody who's looking for that cinematic feel, sharpness is not going to be everything. And if you want to have a sharper image, you can actually sharpen in post. Not too much though, because over sharpening can destroy your image as well, but you can sharpen just a tiny bit. So for me, that isn't the big selling point of the 12mm f1.4. If you look at the other lenses or comparing to the other lenses. Now the big selling point for me is the look that you have at f1.4 and for me it is sharp enough, I would say. It's beautiful at f1.4. You can see here side by side where I shoot myself in f2.8 and in f1.4, and you can see that the image and the black background blur and the rendition of the background is far superior on the 12mm than to the other ones, and that's not surprising to me. Another thing that I also tested here is how good are the macro capabilities of all these 4 lenses, and one of the big positives of the Micro Four Thirds system is that more or less all the lenses that you have will have quite a close focusing distance, which is great. I would say of all these 4 lenses at 12mm, I would say that the 12mm f1.4 is the best of them. You can get really close, and that's really good. Since I went to the Micro Four Thirds system, I haven't had a dedicated macro lens because I don't need to come that close, so that's a good and great thing. So you could use the 12mm and the others for quite good close-ups. Now the question that I asked myself, or in the beginning of this video, was could any of the other lenses that aren't primes replace the 12mm? And of course, depends on what you're looking at, what the quality is. But for me, the 12mm f1.4 is a unique lens. The look that you get from it is unbeatable in the Micro Four Thirds system. So I really love that lens. It's still my favorite lens to use in that 12mm range, but I would say that it is a specialty lens. It wouldn't probably be the first lens that I use or buy if I'm coming into the system, but the imagery that you get from it is stunning. Now if you are somebody who likes to shoot environmental portraits and where you can see some of the background of your subjects, or if you, like me, like to do YouTube or videos where you talk to the camera, this is such a great lens for all those people, because you're close enough, you can set your focus to the camera and still get that beautiful background blur and separation. To answer the question, all of these lenses are really great lenses, but none of the zooms do exactly what this does, and that wasn't a surprise. I just wanted to see how big was the difference and can they replace the 12mm f1.4. So for all of you who really love that beautiful image, you still have to stick to the 12mm f1.4. I would love to know in the comments, for all of you who actually use this lens or are thinking about it, what you like, what you don't like about this lens. So please write them in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. I would appreciate that. And please add me on Instagram. I'm gonna do more and more content there for all of you who are interested in the Blackmagic Pocket and the Panasonic GH5, and in general in equipment and film or photography. So until the next time, bye bye.